My parents forgot my birthday for the fourth time in a row, but gave my sister a car for hers, so I cut them off, and their reaction was insane. Part 2. Hello. Thank you for your continuous support. This means a lot to us. If you enjoy the stories we share, kindly subscribe to this channel. It will be great if you can leave a comment on which city you are watching from. We might just give you a shout-out in our next story. Today's special shout-out goes to Rob Star from Calgary, Canada. We are glad you enjoy our stories. Now let's dive into the details of today's story. 8 months after I'd peeled out of my old life, I'd landed in Juniper Flats, a nowhere town where the days blurred into fixing bikes and crashing in a rented trailer. I'd carved out something steady, something mine. The garage where I worked was small, run by a guy named Hank who didn't talk much, which suited me fine. My motorcycle, the Unseen, sat parked outside my trailer, its frame polished, that little plate, "I am enough," still bolted on. I'd tune it after shifts, just to hear it growl, a reminder I'd built this freedom from scratch. No mom's guilt trips, no dad's grunts, no Sophie's whining. Just me. I thought I'd left them behind for good. That illusion held until a Tuesday afternoon when my phone buzzed mid-oil change. I wiped my hands, pulled it from my pocket. Ezra. His text was short. "Heads up, your sister's stirring the pot again." I stared at it, jaw tight. Sophie? What now? I'd blocked her months ago, hadn't checked her socials since I'd hit the road. Figured she'd moved on to some new drama. I typed back, "What's she doing?" But Ezra didn't reply. Typical. I shoved the phone away, told myself it didn't matter. She was a ghost, and I was done with ghosts. Then Tara showed up. I was under a truck, tightening a bolt, when Hank called out, "Mike, customer." I slid out, stood, and there she was, lean, sharp-eyed, straddling a scooter that coughed like it was on its last leg. "You Michael Grayson?" she asked, voice cutting through the garage hum. I nodded, wary. "Tara," she said, hopping off. "Ryder. I know you from that video, your sister's big meltdown." My gut twisted. Sophie's damn video, 2 million views of me unloading on mom and dad, her smirking behind the lens. "Old news," I muttered, turning back to the truck. She didn't budge. "Not to me. I'm chasing a story. You're the guy who ditched his family, right?" I stopped, turned slow. "What's it to you?" She shrugged, but her eyes were hungry. "People love a runaway. I want the real deal. Why you left? What happened after?" I almost laughed. "Not interested." She crossed her arms. "Think about it. I'll be around." She kicked the scooter to life and rolled off, leaving me with a bad feeling. I didn't need some rider digging up my bones. I buried them deep. That night, I couldn't shake it. Sat in my trailer, staring at the TV I never turned on, Ezra's text gnawing at me. What was Sophie up to? I grabbed a beer, popped it, tried to let it go. Then Hank's kid, Joey, swung by the next day. He helped out at the garage, barely 20, always on his phone. He was leaning on a workbench, scrolling, when I heard it. Sophie's voice, tinny through his earbuds. "What's that?" I asked, sharper than I meant. He yanked one out. "Podcast. Unseen Lies. This chick's wild. Says her brother ditched her family, left and broken. Total train wreck stuff." My blood went cold. "What's her name?" He grinned. "Sophie Grayson. You know her?" I didn't answer. Snatched my own phone, searched it up. There it was, Unseen Lies, Episode 1. The day he left. Sophie's face smirked from the thumbnail, same smug look she did filming me. I hit play, just for a second. "He walked out like we were nothing," she said, voice thick with fake hurt. "Left us to pick up the pieces." I shut it off, chest tight. She'd taken my escape and twisted it, made herself the victim, me the monster. Joey was still talking. She's got like thousands of downloads already, but I barely heard him. Juniper Flats didn't feel so far away anymore. I stepped outside, leaned against the Unseen, tried to breathe it out. She wasn't just stirring the pot, she was dumping it over my head. 8 months of quiet, and now her voice was creeping back in, loud as ever. Tara's words echoed, too, the real deal. Maybe she'd known more than she let on. I kicked the dirt, pissed at myself for caring. I'd left to get free, not to play her game again. But this wasn't just noise, it was a hit, aimed square at me. By the next shift, whispers started. A customer eyed me funny, asked Hank if I was that guy from the podcast. Hank shrugged it off, but I felt it, the cracks forming. Sophie wasn't done with me. She'd found a new stage, and I was the villain in her script. I tightened my grip on a wrench, staring at the bike. I'd built this life to outrun her shadow, not to let her drag it back. Whatever she was playing at, I wasn't biting. Not yet. But the quiet I'd fought for? It was gone. The whispers in Juniper Flats didn't stop after I caught wind of Sophie's podcast. They grew, sharp little jabs from customers at the garage, sidelong looks from folks pumping gas. "Hey, you the guy who ditched his family?" one guy asked, smirking over a tire change. I grunted, "Don't know what you're talking about," and kept working. But I did. Unseen Lies was everywhere. Joey played it on breaks. Hank's radio picked up a local station hyping it. Even Tara started hanging around more, scribbling in a notebook like I was her damn science project. I told her to back off, but she'd just grin and say, "I'm patient." I hated that she was. I caved one night, alone in my trailer, and listened to more of Sophie's garbage. Episode 3, The Crash That Broke Us. She was in full sob mode, talking about wrecking the Toyota DUI, totaled it on a back road. "It was after Michael left," she said, voice quivering. "I couldn't cope, he abandoned us, and I spiraled. My jaw locked so tight I thought my teeth might crack." Abandoned them? She'd had the car, the parties, mom and dad's undivided attention. I'd been the one scraping by, and now she was pinning her screw up on me? I shut it off, tossed my phone across the room. It wasn't just lies, it was a knife, and she was twisting it. Next day, my cousin Mark called. I hadn't talked to him since I'd hit the road, but his number popped up while I was bolting a muffler. "Mike, you hearing this crap Sophie's pulling?" he said. No hello. I leaned against the workbench, wary. "Yeah, podcast." He sighed. "It's worse. Aunt Margaret's leaving you voicemails, crying, saying you broke her. Uncle Paul's telling everyone you're dead to him. Sophie's got them wound up, man." I pinched the bridge of my nose. "They buy her act?" Mark hesitated. "They're eating it up. She's got sponsors now, some self-help brand. It's big." I hung up, didn't say goodbye. Sponsors? Sophie was cashing in on this, turning my walkout into her sob story empire. I checked my voicemail, sure enough. Mom's voice, shaky and soft. "Michael, I don't know why you hate us. Sophie's hurting, and it's because you left. Please call." I deleted it mid-sentence, muttering, "Not again." She didn't get to pull that card, not after 8 months of silence until Sophie needed a scapegoat. Dad's disowning me to the family was just the cherry on top. They weren't reaching out to fix anything. They were backing her play. Tara caught me at the garage later, her scooter parked by the door. "Heard the latest episode," she said, leaning on a toolbox. "She's good twisting it so you're the bad guy. You gonna let her?" I glared at her. "Not your business." She didn't flinch. "It is if I write it. People want your side, the runaway who didn't break. I could sell that." I grabbed a rag, wiped my hands hard. "I'm not some hero for your story." I left. "That's it." She stepped closer. "And she's making you regret it. You really okay with that?" I wasn't. That was the problem. Every shift, I'd catch Joey humming Sophie's intro music, or a customer would ask, "You related to that podcast girl?" Juniper Flats wasn't mine anymore. It was hers, creeping in like a stain. I'd built this life to get free, not to have her voice bouncing off the walls again. That night, I sat on the unseen, engine off, staring at the plate I'd welded. I am enough. Was I? She was rewriting me. Selfish, cold, the brother who ruined them. And people believed it. Revenge started simmering then. Not loud, not messy, but cold and slow. I didn't want her tears or her apologies. I wanted her to lose what she was stealing, my quiet, my truth. Tara's words stuck, your side. Maybe she was right. Not for her article, but for me. Sophie was winning because I'd stayed silent, let her spin her web. I'd walked away once, but this was war, her rules. I didn't need to shout back. I needed to bury her with what really happened. I fired up the bike, took it for a quick loop around town. The engine's growl steadied me, cut through the noise in my head. She wanted to play victim? Fine. I'd play too, but smarter. I'd let her build her little kingdom, then pull the right thread to watch it unravel. By the time I parked, I knew I wasn't running again. I was done letting her define me. Whatever came next, it'd be on my terms. Sophie's podcast had turned Juniper Flats into a cage by the end of that week. I couldn't grab a coffee without someone glancing twice. Couldn't torque a bolt without Joey humming her damn intro tune. Unseen Lies was a virus. Episode 5 dropped, The Brother I Lost, and she'd cranked the sob story up, claiming I'd shattered her trust by leaving. Shattered her trust? I'd spent years holding her messes together while she soaked up the spotlight. I was done letting her paint me as the villain in her fairy tale. That cold itch for revenge wasn't just simmering anymore. It was boiling, and I knew how to use it. Tara ambushed me at the garage Saturday night, after Hank locked up. I was sweeping the floor when she slipped in, her scooter parked out front. "You're losing," she said, blunt as a hammer. "She's burying you alive, 5 episodes, millions of downloads. Fight back or disappear." I stopped, broom in hand, and stared at her. "What's your angle?" She shrugged. "A story. But you? You've got more to lose. She's winning because you're quiet." Her words hit like a spark on dry grass. I'd been quiet too long, 8 months of peace, and she'd stolen it with a microphone and some crocodile tears. I dropped the broom. "One shot," I said. "My terms. No sob fest, just what happened." Her eyes lit up, but I cut her off. "Not for you. For me." She nodded, quick. "Deal. We record tonight here." I didn't argue. The garage was empty, tools lined up, the unseen parked in the corner like a witness. Tara pulled a mic from her bag, set it on a workbench, plugged it into her laptop. "No script," she said. "Just talk." I sat, stared at the mic, felt the weight of it. This wasn't about begging for pity, it was about taking back what Sophie twisted. I started talking. "I'm Michael Grayson. You've heard my sister's version, here's mine." My voice came out rough, steady. I laid it out. The birthdays they forgot for years, not one call. The times I fixed Dad's truck, Mom's sink, Sophie's bike, while they threw her parties for breathing. The night I saw her Toyota post, the bow on the hood, and realized I wasn't even worth a text. I kept it flat, no frills, how I blocked them, quit the job tied to Dad, moved out. "I didn't leave to hurt them," I said. "I left because they didn't see me." "Sophie's crash? That's on her, not me." I stopped, nodded at Tara. "That's it." She didn't blink, just hit stop, started editing right there. "Tight," she muttered, slicing out pauses, sharpening the edges. Took her an hour, me pacing behind her, the unseen's plate glinting in the corner. "Title?" she asked. I didn't hesitate. "The Unseen Truth." She smirked, typed it in. 1 episode, 1 take, done. We uploaded it to a new channel she'd set up. No fanfare, just a click. "It's out there," she said, leaning back. Now we wait. It didn't take long. By morning, my phone buzzed. Mark texting. "Dude, you dropped a bomb." I checked. The Unseen Truth had 10,000 downloads in hours, climbing fast. Comments rolled in. "This guy's real, Sophie's full of it." Finally, the other side. Tara swung by at lunch, grinning. 50,000 now? Forums are lighting up. People are digging into her old posts, calling her out. I didn't smile back, just nodded. This wasn't about winning fans. It was about breaking her grip. That night, I listened to it myself, alone in the trailer. My voice sounded strange, older, harder than I'd expected. Every word was a brick, stacking up against her lies. I kept it simple, but it cut deep because it was true. Sophie'd built her castle on quicksand, and I'd just kicked the base. Revenge didn't need shouting or tears. It needed this. Her own game, turned back on her. I pictured her face, that smug smirk fading as her downloads stalled. "Good. Hank caught me next shift," rare grin on his face. "Heard your thing, Mike. Folks are talking, saying you're the honest one." I shrugged. Just set it straight. But inside, it burned, sharp and clean. Tara was right. Silence had let Sophie win. Now I'd spoken, and the tide was shifting. I didn't know how she'd hit back. Probably some frantic episode, more fake sobs, but I'd fired the first shot. The Unseen sat outside, engine cold, waiting. I ran my thumb over the plate, felt the words. This was my move, my truth. And I wasn't done yet. The day after The Unseen Truth dropped, Juniper Flats felt different. No whispers followed me into the garage. No awkward stares from customers. No Joey blasting Sophie's podcast on his breaks. It was quiet, but not the kind I'd fought for. This was the quiet of a storm that had passed, leaving everything shifted. My phone buzzed nonstop. Mark, Ezra, even a random number I didn't know, all texting about the episode. I didn't check the numbers yet, just kept working, bolting a new exhaust on a Harley. But I felt it. The ground I'd lost to Sophie was mine again. Tara swung by mid-morning, laptop under her arm, that sharp grin back. 150,000 downloads, she said, setting up on a workbench. You're trending. Hashtags, threads, the works. Sophie's latest episode? Barely cracked 10,000. I wiped my hands on a rag, kept my face blank. Good. She raised an eyebrow. Good? Mike, you gutted her. Her fans are jumping ship, calling her out for the crash, the lies. Your truth's louder than her drama now. I nodded slow. That was the point. Not to beg for their pity, but to bury her story with mine. By lunch, it was clear she'd lost the plot. Mark called, voice buzzing. Sophie's freaking man. Posted some rant last night. Don't believe his side, he's twisting it. But it's tanking. Comments are brutal. You crashed the car, not him. Stop playing victim. She's done. I leaned against the unseen, parked outside, and let that sink in. Done. Her little kingdom, downloads, sponsors, mom and dad's backup, was crumbling. I didn't need to hear her voice crack to know I'd won. Revenge wasn't her tears on a mic. It was this silence, her spotlight flickering out. Hank noticed too. He clapped me on the shoulder after a shift, rare words breaking his grunt habit. Folks around here like you better now. Say you're the real deal. I shrugged. Just told it like it was. He smirked. That's why it stuck. Juniper wasn't Sophie's echo chamber anymore. It was mine, reclaimed without a shout. I'd turned her game against her, and she didn't see it coming. That felt better than any apology she'd never give. Then the mail hit. I got back to the trailer that evening, found a plain envelope slipped under the door, no return address, just my name in Mom's shaky scrawl. I stared at it, debating tossing it unopened. 8 months, and now this? I tore it anyway. One page, short. Michael, we didn't know how to love you both. Sophie's lost without you, and we're lost too. Forgive us. No tears stained the paper, no long pleas, just that. I read it twice, then sat on the mattress, holding it. Forgive them? They'd picked her every time, birthdays, the car, the podcast, and now they wanted absolution because her lies fell apart? I didn't write back. Didn't call. Didn't owe them that. Instead, I grabbed a lighter, stepped outside, and dropped the letter in an old barrel by the trailer. Flicked the flame, watched it catch, curling black at the edges, then gone. That's the end of it, I said, to no one. Ashes lifted into the dusk, and I felt lighter than I had in months. They could wallow in their mess, Sophie's crash, their guilt. I'd carried it long enough. This was my revenge too, not just on her, but on them. Letting them fade, not pulling me back. Tara stopped by later, her scooter humming as she pulled up. Articles live, she said, hopping off. Titled it, The Unseen Brother, Your Story, Clean and Sharp. Editor loves it. She paused, eyed me. You took her down without lifting a finger. That's rare. I leaned on the trailer door. Didn't need to. Truth did it. She nodded, respect in her stare. You're more than their shadow, Mike. You know that now, right? I glanced at the unseen, its plate glinting. Yeah. Took a while, but yeah. She left after that. No big goodbye, just a wave and a promise to send me the link. I didn't need it. The garage was steady, the town was mine again, and Sophie's voice was static in the distance. I'd flipped her script, not with noise, but with something she couldn't touch, what really happened. Her fans could rage. Mom could write more letters, didn't matter. I'd won by stepping out of her game entirely. Revenge tasted clean, final, like the hum of the bike's engine waiting for me. I wasn't stuck anymore. I was ready to move. A week after Sophie's podcast crashed and burned, I started packing. Juniper Flats had been good to me, steady work, a trailer that didn't leak, a garage where I could breathe, but it wasn't home. Never had been. Just a stop, a place to land after I'd cut the ropes tying me to Mom, Dad, and Sophie. Now, with the unseen truth still buzzing online and her lies fading to static, I didn't need to stay. I'd won, not loud, not messy, but final. My duffel sat by the door, same two I'd hauled out of my old life, stuffed with clothes and my toolbox. The unseen waited outside, engine cold, ready. Tara swung by that morning, her scooter rattling as she pulled up. She'd stuck around after her article dropped, tying up loose ends, but I could tell she was itching to move too. Leaving? She asked, eyeing the bags. I nodded. Yeah, time's up here. She hopped off, leaned against her ride. You did it. Flipped her whole game. Unseen Lies is dead. Last I checked, she's posting apologies, but no one's biting. I smirked, just a little. Good. Let her dig her own way out. Tara tilted her head. You're not curious? No last look. I shook my head. Got what I needed. She's done. She didn't push. Just pulled a printed copy of her article from her bag, The Unseen Brother, and handed it over. For the road. You're in there, real as it gets. I took it, folded it without reading. Thanks. For pushing me. She grinned, quick and sharp. Had to. You're too stubborn to see it yourself. We stood there a second, no mushy goodbye, just a nod. She climbed back on her scooter, gave a wave, and peeled off, engine whining into the distance. I liked her. She'd been a spark, not a crutch. I locked the trailer, left the key with Hank at the garage. He didn't ask where I was going, just shook my hand, firm. Take care, Mike. You're welcome back. I nodded. Appreciate it. Didn't say I wouldn't be. Juniper had served its purpose. Gave me a shot to bury Sophie's noise, to stand taller than her shadow. The unseen truth had done its job. 200,000 downloads last I checked. Her number's a fraction of that. Her sponsors bailed, her fans turned, and Mom's letter, burned to ash, was the last I'd hear from them. I didn't need more. I thought about that letter as I strapped the bags to the unseen. We didn't know how to love you both. Too late, too weak. I'd carried their guilt long enough. Sophie's crash, their favoritism, the years I'd spent invisible. Revenge wasn't just her podcast tanking. It was letting them go, all of them, for good. I'd flipped her script, sure, but I'd flipped mine too. Didn't need their sorries or her spotlight. I'd built this, me, the bike, the road. I swung my leg over, fired up the engine. It growled to life, deep and steady, vibrating through me like a pulse. I glanced at the trailer one last time. Empty, just a shell now. This is mine now, I said low to no one. The plate gleamed. I am enough, and I twisted the throttle. Tires bit the asphalt, and I rolled out of Juniper Flats. No map, no plan. West, maybe, or north, didn't matter. The point was moving, not staying. The highway opened up fast, a straight shot cutting through nothing. Sophie's voice faded in my head, those fake sobs, her twisted tales, replaced by the hum of the bike. I'd turned her weapon on her, not with screams, but with what she couldn't fake, the truth. She'd wanted me back in her story, villain, scapegoat, whatever got her clicks. I'd given her nothing but my exit, louder than she'd ever be. Mark texted me once after the fallout. She's a mess, man. You good? I'd replied, yeah, and left it there. They could figure their own way. I was out. Miles stacked up, the road blurring under me. I thought about Ezra. Might call him later, see what he was up to. Tara too, maybe, if I felt like it. But for now, it was just me and the unseen, the wind tugging at my jacket, the engine singing. I'd fought for this. Not just against Sophie, but against the kid I'd been, waiting for them to notice. He was gone now, burned up with that letter, left behind in Juniper. This Michael didn't wait. He rode. The horizon stretched wide, endless, and I grinned into it. Revenge had tasted sharp. Her fall, their silence, my rise. But this was better. Freedom, mine alone, no strings. The plate caught the sun, a flash of steel, and I pushed the throttle harder. Sophie could keep her wreckage. I had the road, and it was enough. Did Michael's revenge hit home for you? Smash that like button if you'd take down a lie with your own truth. Drop a comment. Ever had to fight to be seen? Subscribe for more stories of grit and payback. Next ride's coming soon, and you won't want to miss it. See you soon.